Information available to poorer communities is doctored, tainted and sometimes regressive, where the words fake news have come to mean other people's opinions. It is vital to rely on news platforms with journalists who have feet on the ground and can report the truth. New York Parrot, a New York-based national and global news outlet, is changing the narratives of media operations. We focus on the news that matters, like self-empowerment, entrepreneurship, finances, health, security, politics, and more. We strive to curb violence, racial and economic discrimination, and to promote peace and socio-economic development of multiculturally diverse world. As we give voice to the people, we also give your business a voice and make it heard. Get your products and services off the ground by advertising on our fast-growing platform. With so much of daily visits to New York Parrot, you can't afford to be invisible to prospective clients on the website they trust the most. Our posts reach millions of people across the New York State and around the world. Advertising on our new site will unlock an audience of thousands of potential customers on your doorstep. New York Parrot is born to prosperously speak tomorrow for the voiceless.
Welcome to today's edition of Talking Politics on Parrot TV. Sorry for the lateness, but we had to get the right name up on the top, as Parrot TV does several shows, so I wanted the right name up, and let's get right into it for this Friday, August 4th. I am Robert Press, reporter for the Bronx Chronicle. Here is my official New York City press card. I also write for the Co-op City News, Parkchester Times, and this show, which is run by Muslim Media Corporation. Let's go into the weather right now. It looks like that when it comes to the evening, showers should be happening later tonight, and they should be heavy at times before ending sometime after midnight. The temperature should get no higher than 80 today, but the weekend, both Saturday and Sunday, look like beautiful beach days, as the temperature will be about 84 degrees, predicted to be 84 degrees with plenty of sunshine. Now, let's go into one of our favorite topics, Donald Trump. Donald Trump once again made headlines yesterday as he was arraigned once again, this time on 4 felony charges in a Washington, D.C. federal court. Trump pleaded not guilty to the charges of conspiracy to defraud the United States, conspiracy to obstruct official proceedings, obstruction of an attempt to obstruct an official proceeding, and conspiracy against rights in a 45-page indictment. I could read you the indictment, but I would need at least 2 hours. A court date has been set for the next hearing, August 28th, as the prosecution wants to move this through fast. Trump's defense team says it needs more time to go through the evidence. They want to push it back till after the election next year. It is 2.5 years since the January 6, 2000 insurrection, where almost 10,000 people demonstrated for Trump, with about 2,000 who went into the U.S. Capitol. They have been all identified. Some have been tried and are in jail. Others will be coming up on trial, and we'll see what happens to them. In this melee, 140 officers were hurt. 5 people died, it said, including 1 Capitol Police officer who wants to sue Donald Trump. There are also 6 unnamed co-conspirators in the indictment who are believed to be Rudy Giuliani, former Trump attorney, Sidney Powell, former Trump attorney, John Eastman, former Trump attorney, Jeffrey Clark, former Trump Department of Justice official, Kenneth Chesebro, Trump's campaign-related attorney, and a possible political consultant who helped implement a plan to submit fraudulent slates of presidential election candidates to obstruct the certification process. Closer to home, though, on a sad note, police officer Alexis Martinez yesterday was killed by his father, who took his own life. The police department is left in a position to find out why Officer Martinez was killed by his father, who then took his own life. I was at Jacoby Hospital when the local precinct had closed down the eastbound Maid Road of Pelham Parkway, so police could send the ambulance from Soundview up the Bronx River Parkway to Pelham Parkway and across to Jacoby Hospital, where it's located. Undercover police officers were at the hospital, and of course, when they saw my press card, they just said, "Be careful what you say, the media is here." To those officers who don't talk to the media, we are just trying to find out what happened, and we already know most of what happened, and that was why I was at the hospital, to find out and wait to see if the officer was still alive or not. Later today at 12:30, the Chief of Operations for Office of Public Safety, Justin Myers, is holding a briefing on public safety in New York City. It appears that these briefings are held on Fridays at 12 or 12:30. It is the Chief of Operations for the Office of Public Safety, Justin Myers, DEP Deputy Commissioner for Police Security, John Cosgrove, which leads me to believe that our water supply will be discussed. New York City Police Department Chief of Transit, Michael Kemper, which means that the subway system will be discussed, and NYPD Deputy Commissioner for Collaborative Policing, Chauncey Parker. It is today at 12:30 p.m. in City Hall in the Blue Room. Obviously, I will not be in attendance since the show is going to end at 12, probably about 12:30 or later. And I may have to change this show to later in the day so I can attend these business meetings. On to cannabis. Attorney General Letitia James, Governor Hochul, and the Office of Cannabis Management shut down 7 unlicensed cannabis stores. Where were they, though? They were in upstate New York. There was 7 stores that were in the stuck illegally sold, chain, which illegally sold cannabis to underage customers in Cayuga, Oswego, and Wayne counties. The governor signed legislation granting the Office of Cannabis Management and the Attorney General new powers to take enforcement action against the unlicensed cannabis dispensaries as part of the FY24 enacted budget, which was July 31st, 2023. Now, New York Attorney General Letitia James says that these stores were illegally selling cannabis to underage customers, she utilized the new enforcement powers granted to the Attorney General by legislation. The unlicensed dispensary chain, I'm Stuck, has 8 locations across Cayuga, Monroe, Oswego, and Wayne counties, and is selling cannabis without the proper authorization from OCM. In addition to making this statement, the Attorney General James said legalized cannabis in New York was a historic milestone to correct the harm of the past, but there are laws that must be followed to ensure cannabis products are safe and kept out of the hands of minors. This new cannabis legislation, it seems like the cart was put in front of the horse, because now they have to change it again, much like the no cash bail law. We're making adjustments to it. But one thing that's important here that you need to know about this cannabis raid was that it's only where legal cannabis stores are. Last raids were in downtown Manhattan, where legal cannabis stores open, and at the Community Board 10 public hearing on the Westchester Avenue newly licensed cannabis dispensary, one of the owners said the only way to get rid of illegal cannabis stores, the illegal smoke shops, is to have a legal store, and we see enforcement of illegal cannabis stores is only around where there are legal cannabis stores. So if you don't have a cannabis store, you better get one if you want to get rid of those smoke shops. That's what the governor says, that's what the Attorney General says, and that's what most of your elected officials say. On the Long Island Railroad yesterday, 8 cars of a Hempstead-bound Long Island Railroad train derailed east of Jamaica Station. In what may be that the cars jumped the track at a switching crossing to switch trains, stopped cannabis fear-mongering. It's okay. It was illegal for a reason, and it's illegal in the country for a reason. Now, back to the derailment. There were 100 people on a train that was going 54 miles per hour when the train derailed. The speed was not a factor since trains normally travel at 60 to 80 miles per hour at that spot of the derailment. 13 people were reported injured, none life-threatening. Passengers were transferred to another train and brought to the Jamaica station. It is not clear what caused the derailment. An investigation is underway, and disruptions on the Long Island Railroad line will be ended today, probably when it's fixed, or over the weekend, and Monday it should return to normal service. Migrants are given beds after sleeping outside New York City Roosevelt Hospital, but lines likely to return as influx continues, is one article. Dozens of migrants have been camping outside the Adams administration Asylum Seeker Arrival Center in Manhattan were finally given beds Thursday, which is yesterday, after some of them spent nearly a week sleeping on the sidewalk amid overcrowding in the city's shelter system. While the city resolved the dire situation for now, an Adams administration official warned it is likely New Yorkers will see a return of migrants sleeping outside the Roosevelt Hotel Center in coming days as hundreds continue to arrive every week. It is likely the line outside the Roosevelt ebbs and flows as we rush to provide shelter for tens of thousands of asylum seekers without proper help from the federal government, an administrative official told the Daily News. The Midtown Arrival Center, where newly arrived migrants are supposed to be processed to get a bed in a city shelter. Last weekend, some adult migrants showed up at the Roosevelt and were told the shelter system was at a complete capacity and there was no more room inside the hotel, meaning that they needed to wait on the curb until space opened up. By Tuesday, they were sleeping on the sidewalk, and around Thursday at 10 a.m., those space for migrants opened up outside the Roosevelt Hotel, and they were granted beds. Our next item goes to, it appears that Manhattan District Attorney, before our commercial, it appears that Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg is going after some of Mayor Adams' one-time politicos. Former city councilman and mayoral Adams building commissioner, former building commissioner, I should say, Eric Ulrich, has been charged in a sealed indictment with corruption-related crimes, the New York Times is reporting. They also report that 6 people, including a longtime friend of the mayor, we spoke about this in previous shows, Dwayne Montgomery, was charged with conspiring to illegally funnel money to the Eric Adams mayoral campaign in 2021. Since taking office in January 2022, Adams was also linked to a Brooklyn pastor known as the Bling Bishop, who was charged with fraud and extortion. And also he was connected to twin brothers who share a criminal history involving money laundering. Times also say that former buildings commissioner Ulrich resigned in November of 2022 after the district attorney's office seized his phone and he was questioned by the DA's office. It was also reported that Mayor Adams may have informed Ulrich of the impending investigation, but Mayor Adams has denied that he has given any warning of an investigation. We are now at our time for a commercial, so let me take a commercial break. I'll be back with a little bit of information about the Fordham Bus Lane National Night Out, a event up in Williamsbridge, and community boards. Names have been given out, so let's see if I made it to Community Board 11. Let's go to our commercial.
Undoubtedly, Africa is the best tourism destination on Earth. The continent is blessed with the most conducive atmosphere. To feel and enjoy these blessings, join the most productive one-week tour of the continent organized by Daylight Africa every September 2nd to September 9th to see beyond the fallacies about Africa on the mainstream media. Contact us at daylightafrica@gmail.com or call 718-822-5555. Daylight Africa. Revolutionizing tourism industries in Africa.
Welcome back. As I said, the Fordham Bus Lane, in an effort to improve bus service to 85 daily riots on Fordham Road in the Bronx. It seems that U.S. Representative Adriano Espiat, according to Streets Blog, says while he said nothing about the issue publicly, the congressman, they say, has quietly assembled opposition to the proposed bus lane upgrades in recent weeks, leaning on younger elected officials in the fall to fall in line behind City Council member Oswald Felice, a vocal critic of the project, according to officials familiar with the issue, which Streets Blog does not name. The pressure campaign has an impact, the officials say. Lawmakers who once privately expressed support for the proposed upgrade have fallen silent on the project or come out against it. Espiat has not reached out to, Espiat has even reached out to Mayor Adams to discuss the project, they said. His intervention has further delayed the project, according to Streets Blog, where Espiat's representatives, the Streets, answered Streets Blog that we are not opposed to it. His chief of staff, Anna-Marie Batista, said she declined to describe what Espiat said about the project in conversations or whether the congressman supports it, saying that it is a local issue, not a federal issue. He deferred to local officials, and it appears that the Streets Blog says that Espiat is building his group of Dominican elected officials, which include Assemblywoman Yudeka Tapia, Councilman Felice, Councilman Perina Sanchez, and maybe one or two others, including Assemblyman George Alvarez. The average speed on the BS 12 line dropped from 9 miles an hour in 2014 to 6.3 miles per hour in April of 2023. However, DOT did not, when they came to one community board meeting, they did not mention that during the pandemic, the 3 years of the pandemic, the bus route was about 20 miles per hour. So what is happening with this bus route? They have the bus at the curb lane where trucks and cars park. So the answer is to put the bus lane in the middle. Now, Webster Avenue has a middle bus lane in it. And one bus driver told me that it is a horror show. Cars have to go from the extreme left lane into the right lane, or trucks, to park. And when they park, they just can't go right into the spot. It sometimes takes minutes for them to park. So that bus lane is disrupted. It's also then when they have to leave, they have to cross bus lane again to get into the extreme left lane to go. Also, when the extreme left lane comes to an intersection, you have people turning left, which backs that up, and then cars and trucks go into the bus lane. So there's a big problem with these bus lanes that are in the middle of a 3-lane road, and people, like Councilman Felice, say it's better to keep it at the curb with 2 lanes of active traffic and do more enforcement to keep the cars and trucks out of that bus lane. National Night Out happened on Tuesday, August 2nd. I was elected recording secretary of the 49th Precinct Council, so I spent all my time at the 49th Precinct Council event in Bronx Park East, unlike in past years where I visited 4 or 5 different events. It was a joyful evening where the community and the police department were able to communicate to one another. Former police president of the 49th Precinct Council, Joe Thompson, was given a proclamation. Police Commissioner Caban stopped by and stayed for a while to speak about his Bronx roots, take pictures with the council and others, and those pictures are up on the 49th Precinct Council's Facebook page. And I want to congratulate the members of the 49th Precinct Council, my other members, President Hazel Muir, Vice President Phyllis Nastasio, Treasurer Elio Morales, Corresponding Secretary Debbie Kowalik, who made up our National Night Out flyers, and Brian Adams, our Sergeant of Arms. I also want to congratulate the officers who helped us from Community Affairs and others. The auxiliary police were there, and as was Officer Fernandez, who did a wonderful job of guiding her explorers who helped us give out the snacks, the popcorn, the cotton candy, and Italian ices. Unfortunately, unlike other precincts, the 49th precinct didn't have hot dogs or hamburgers or whatever, but it was a very successful evening. If you were there, you know what I mean. If you weren't, you missed a great opportunity. Let me just say that Tuesday, August 8th in Van Cortlandt Park, the Van Cortlandt Alliance and Horace Mann School will be presenting the Starlight Cinema Story Avenue by Bronx filmmaker Aristotle Torres, who will be at the screening, which will begin at about 8 p.m., they say, or so. Bring a blanket and enjoy the film as you sit on the lawn. This just came in this morning from Andy King. It is a Jesus Week Unity Walk. Clergy, elected officials, youth, seniors, community law enforcement will be there. Why is this happening? In the scope of what neighborhoods across New York City are feeling, whether it's crime, economics, or most important, lack of spirituality. The first ever Jesus Week Unity Walk will bring many sects together to walk in union to save our communities. The walk will head down East Gun Hill Road to the Astor Little League to 12th District Community Engagement Fun and Sunday with a gospel concert featuring Grammy winner Dion McClurkin. This is the first time I'm reading this, so please bear with me. It is Saturday, August 5th, which is tomorrow. It starts at 10:30 a.m. at 1245 East Gun Hill Road in the Bronx. Also, on Friday, August 11th, Assemblyman John Sicaro Jr. is having a back-to-school bash at Loretto Playground, which is located at 1111 Van Nest Avenue. It is from 3 to 5 p.m., so I will be able to cover that, which is happening at Loretto Park for Assemblyman John Sicaro Jr. Now, on the subject of community boards, the list of new community board members came out Wednesday. A community board can have up to 50 members and are supposed to be representative of the entire community board area. While board members come from one section in the community board area, they should have a knowledge of the entire community board area to be effective board members. We have seen in the past, though, people are placed on community boards to be puppets of city council members or even the borough presidents. I was appointed to Community Board 8 because of my friendship to a high-level staffer in the borough president's office at the time, who told me to apply for Community Board 8. I was able to be mentored, though, however, by excellent board members on Community Board 8, which included a former buildings commissioner, a former city planning staffer who created the plan for the special nature area in Community Board 8, the chair of the Law, Rules, and Ethics Committee, who at 99 years of age was still an active member of Community Board 8 and still went downtown 2 days a week to practice law. So I was involved in creating the ethics manual for Community Board 8, which was used as a guide for Community Board 11. I even told one of the members who got mad at me when I said it looks just like Community Board 8's ethics manual, you left in one Community Board 8 and you left in our Law, Rules, and Ethics Committee. Now, as far as, I was a very active member of Community Board 8 myself. I was on 9 different committees at one time, and I learned, I became the vice chair of the Traffic and Transportation Committee and the vice chair of the Public Safety Committee. At Public Safety Committee, unlike Community Boards 10 or 11, heard liquor licenses. And at times, I would even run these committee meetings in the absence of the chairs. And in my final year on Community Board 8, I became the Budget Committee chair. I sat with city agencies, board chairs, and district managers at budget negotiations in the fall one year to discuss community board needs. I sat next to one district manager from Community Board 12 who questioned as to why I was at the meeting, and because I was not a board chair or a district manager. At the end of the meeting, however, this district manager said to me, "It's a good thing you're here. You know what you're talking about." As I questioned agency after agency on the needs of my community board area, I was able to get a new police van for our auxiliary police officers that were using a 12-year-old brown car. I was able to finally clear the way for funding for a new library in Van Cortlandt Village in Community Board 8, and I was able to get new generators in our firehouses, among other items like more miles of street paving. I moved to, and I know I'm getting personal here, and my producer is telling me it's unprofessional, but I'm going to continue here for the next few minutes because I moved to Morris Park in 2019. Last year, I applied to Community Board 11, which I thought I would get on with all my experience. However, the new borough president, Vanessa Gibson, did not appoint me. So at an event, I asked her why she did not appoint me to Community Board 11. Her answer was that she wanted the board to be more reflective of the community. I appreciated her honesty and left it at that. I applied again this year, however, and having probably one of the best attendance records at meetings after, I became a vibrant member of the community, being on several neighborhood organizations for years now. But when the list came out, my name was not on it this past Wednesday. I read all the names, all 11, which would bring the board up to 44 members, as last year, 7 members either resigned or removed for poor attendance. One such person who almost was removed had questions about her 5 absences of the 10 full board meetings, whereas in the CB11 bylaws, 5 absences call for removal, which has been done in the past by CB11. It appears that there were more absences from the committee meetings that the district manager didn't have because this member complained about her co-chair running meetings, which meant that she wasn't at those meetings. This board member said to the chair of the board, though, "I have a TV show," and she mentioned it more than once. And it was just a given, and she was just given a warning by the way, the new borough president was on her TV show. So let me say to Bronx Borough President Vanessa Gibson, I have a TV show, okay? And if you didn't hear me, Borough President Gibson, I have a TV show, as well as being a full-fledged, with a reporter with a press card. My former co-host has told me that several of the new appointees are politically connected and that the East Bronx will soon look like the South Bronx with homeless shelters and a Rikers Island hospital ward in Jacoby Hospital soon. I have requested to know why I was not put on CB11 by Borough President Gibson, and the last time I requested something from the Borough President's office, it took 2 months for an answer. I only hope the new members get the proper training that has been lacking to Bronx Community Board members. And I myself helped mentor a few of these new community board members last year on Community Board 11. Even some old members wanted me to help them on certain items. And while I may be tooting my own horn and trying to get something that I'm not going to get, the borough president obviously has no concern for Community Board 11. We'll have to hope that these new members are good members, but in the past, it appears that I can only hope and wish. And let me close the show on that. And Borough President Gibson, let me just say one more thing to you. I have a TV show, and thank you for watching.
Do you wish your business makes it to the top list of the most searched for business in the US and around the world? Or are you searching for halal compliant services and products online? then Halal Finder is your online resource directory pointing you to the right places and products. Let's help you explore halal products and services of your choice as we manage many halal businesses across the world. Promote your business with halalfinder.com, the only plug you need to grow. Our services include business listing, digital marketing, branding strategy, SEO campaigns, crowdfunding, and humanitarian support. On our Compassion Corner, we offer crowdfunding of halal ventures and humanitarian services. In this section, you can make or receive donations, start donation campaign, and check existing donation campaigns. And by paying zakat and sadaqah to our Compassion platform on halalfinder.com, you have supported the poor, widows or widowers, orphans, and the likes around the world. Contact us at info@halalfinder.com or call +1 718 822 5555. Get started today at halalfinder.com.